Micah Frankel, Cage Minds, and for the second time this week, we're going to be joined by Abel Cullum. Hopefully this time, you guys will be able to hear him, though. How's it going, Abel?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just hanging out, getting ready to train here in a little bit.
Oh, see, nice and clear this time. We have a good connection. We can hear you. Main event.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go for it. What were you going to say from yesterday?
No, I was just saying it's be much easier this time, not having to try to read your lips and, go from there.
Right. Did you like how I was pointing when you are giving thumbs up when you would hit the points that I was trying to ask?
I was following. I'm good at body language. I think it's, it worked. Well, we made it work best we could anyways.
How much of that being able to observe body language comes from your experience in your professional career in law enforcement?
I think that is definitely something we have to watch for. We always got to stay on our toes, got to be diligent, just keep our eyes on everything. Like everything matters in every situation, and yeah, that's one of the things you just learn over time. And thankfully I was able to put it to use in a little interview, and we got some information out there. Got a lot of good feedback from the video from that interview, but I'm happy to do it again, and hopefully, like I said, this one's clear and legible and audible.
How much of that skill, of also that observance that you have, how much does that come into play in noticing tendencies of your opponent during a fight and in preparation leading up to the fight?
I pay a lot of attention to that. I always have. I think since my first fight till now, I think it just in the time that I've been fighting now, 12 years. It's just been able to hone in on that, and yeah, like I said, everything matters. When it comes to interviews, press conferences, demeanor during weigh-ins. I mean, I think the hardest part for a lot of fighters is making weight and watching, being able to look at their face and read their body language, see how they handle that type of adversity sometimes, and that type of mental toughness that it takes to make weight. It's seeing somebody at their weakest point is it tells me how strong they are, and yeah, I use that a lot in every aspect, and it goes from weigh-ins and then day of the fight, in passing. We're there for our fighter meeting in the back when the referees are talking. Everything matters. Like I said, that's always been it for me. I always say it. I drive some of my relatives and friends and fellow officers nuts sometimes, but it is. I mean, everything matters. There's nothing that doesn't. So try to pay attention to everything.
We head into Fight Night 4. You're back in the main event. We saw you in June. Had you been looking for a fight this whole time? What had Abel Cullum been up to since the last time we saw him in the cage?
My last fight, I was engaged. So afterwards, we had our wedding plan for July 13th. We went over to Panama City Beach and had a great time. Got married, and then the plan was to come back and get right back at it. Get back in the cage as soon as possible. Took a little bit longer than I was anticipating and wanting, but I'm happy to be back in there November 30th and get in there with Steve Garcia.
Well, congratulations. First off, throw that out there.
Oh, thank you.
How do you like this matchup? What do you like about the challenge that stands in front of you taking this fight facing Steve Garcia?
With my layoffs and everything in my fight career, especially in the last 4 years, I'm excited to fight anybody. I mean, the drive is for me is just to get back in there and just to fight. This is the opponent is just one factor to everything else, and just getting my career back on track, and working my way up to the top of the ranks, and just keep advancing and keep improving. At this point in my career, I feel like I'm in my physical and mental prime, and I just want to take it as far as it can go. Not to say that I'm looking past, Steve Garcia in any way, but I could definitely see past Steve Garcia.
In the last 3 fights, this 3-fight win streak that you had, even though it's been spread out, you haven't even fought a full 3 rounds yet. You're under 15 minutes of total fight time, having finished all 3 guys. What has been the key to getting these finishes, to putting in this quick work?
Preparation, man. I I've been surrounded, especially my whole career I've been surrounded by some tough guys that help me get ready. This camp has been no different. Got a good variety of people to work with. Got, like I said, Nico Nathan, Harvey Park's been helping. Of course, Seth over at Force of One. He's also Gracie Baja. BJJ guy. He's amazing to work with, and just got Coach Eric, of course, is helping me with a lot of things, and just keeping focus. And my objective every time I train is to finish as much as possible. I mean, that's everybody's mentality. I think that I train with. We like to go hard. I know the trend as of late. I've been listening to a lot of fighter interviews. Is take it easy and not too much sparring and everything like that, which is cool and all. But I mean, I've always been a really gritty type of fighter. I love those moments of adversity. I like to push myself and put my body and my mind through stuff that that is something. Basically, just put myself through hell. I put my body, my mind through hell. That way, when I get into the cage, it's a walk in the park. With whoever I'm stepping in there against, I know that they can't do to me what I've already put myself through. Willingly and as far as my preparation.
Have you acknowledged that kind of means that you have a old school, as they'd say it, mentality?
Yeah, definitely. I think that is definitely it. I mean, I've always trained smart. Luckily, I've been able to avoid most injuries, a lot of injuries anyways. But at the end of the day, man, you got to put yourself through it. Mental toughness. I was talking, again, I always talking to my dad, but we had a conversation the other day about mental toughness. And when in reference to listening to different interviews and stuff with different fighters, mental toughness isn't something that you just have. It's not something that you can build, and then you build it up and you build it up and then you have it forever. No, it's something that constantly needs work. It's like you're building up your mountain, but your mountain's going to get rained on. It's going to break down. You got to constantly keep packing and keep building it up, and that doesn't come from taking it easy. At the end of the day, you got to put yourself through some shit. You got to do some things that suck, and you got to do it when you don't want to do it, and that's just part of it. Part of part of being tough is doing stuff you don't want to do, and that's just it for me. I always enjoy just putting myself through stuff that make people say, "What the hell? Who the hell goes for a 15-mile run when it's 12 degrees outside?" Hey, me. Who the hell is going for anything that I do? People trip out when they see me. I was running just the other day. We had it was I think 8 degrees here in Tucumcari, and went for a nice long run and just enjoyed it. I was hurting, couldn't feel my face, fingers were hurting, toes were hurting, everything was wet, but it's just one of those things I know I can put myself through. I know if I'm ever in a situation that my body's and my mind is ready to get through whatever it takes to make sure I come out okay.
Thank you for the example, because as you were talking, I'm just thinking to myself, what is he doing to himself?
Yeah, it's just a touch of crazy with that. I think that you take. I remember a long time ago, and I loved it when he said it. BJ Penn, to be the greatest or the best at anything, you got to be a little bit crazy, and I think that's part of my training and my mentality is just that. You got to be willing to do shit that nobody else is willing to do, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable, of course. It's not going to be a walk in the park. You can't go in and just do technique and just do drills. Now you got to go in there and get your ass kicked, and return the favor, because your training partners need to get better too.
Have you had that?
So it's just, what's that?
I was going to say, have you had that thought for a while that there has to be a part of you that's a little bit crazy to want to go get locked in a cage with another person and test your martial arts skill against them?
Yeah, like I said, until I don't even remember what year. I think that was probably like maybe 2007 or 2008 when BJ Penn was a real champion. I think he beat Matt Hughes, and that's when he had mentioned that. I don't remember the exact year. You might know better than I do, but when he put it like that is when I started thinking like that. Before that, it's a sport to me. It's a profession, and it's something that I've always enjoyed, and I've always had to. When I first started fighting in 2005, Ultimate Fighter hadn't been out yet. A lot of stuff hadn't been really mainstream, and people were tripping out the fact that I was a senior in high school, 18 years old, or actually 17 years old, waiting to turn 8 on my 18th birthday so I could start fighting. And I remember one of my English teachers, Mrs. Gates, she was telling me, she's like, "So you're gonna do what this weekend?" I was like, "I'm gonna go fight. Got a cage fight in Albuquerque, or in Gallup actually. I was fighting at Red Rock when I fought Michael Chupa, my very first fight." And she was just like, "Oh, well, just don't let them hurt your face," and it's all that stuff that a teacher and caring woman would say, and she just thought she'd questioned, that it's somewhat barbaric, or something like that, and along those lines, not exactly that, but something along those lines. And I explained to her, no, it's a sport, it's something that I trained for. I've been started training when I was 13 years old. She knew that I was always doing stuff and always invite different people to come out and work on some jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and boxing and stuff. And especially when I was younger, I was just looking for anybody to train with, because we had a small group when I first started, and I was constantly looking for more, just to get a variety of styles. I just met some wrestlers and some boxers and some kickboxers and jiu-jitsu guys, some Muay Thai guys along the way, and just brought us all together when my brother, dad, and I were building Cullum ground fighting. That's pretty much what we're doing, is just out and about, traveling Albuquerque, Clovis, Amarillo, Guyman, Oklahoma. We're all over the place trying to find people to train with. And anyways, it got us to where we were at. And so to answer your question, I guess, early on in my career, I was trying to promote the sport as a sport and as a profession, and not as this barbaric, cage fight, brutal, beating each other up stuff. And a lot of time, my first handful of fights, I think I had more victories than strikes that I actually threw. I didn't have to pound anybody's face or nothing like that. It was just a clean submission victory, and went home happy and without a beat up face.
And I'm guessing now, as the sport has evolved, everybody's gotten a lot more well-rounded. So you've had to beat up a lot more faces because the submissions aren't as easy.
Definitely, yeah. You never know what you're going to get into until you get in there. That's definitely it. The sport has evolved since it's gone mainstream, and since it's become the cool thing. Back before it was so taboo, now it's the cool thing, and just about everybody everywhere has trained in some form of martial arts just because they're a fan of the sport, which I can't blame them. It's the best sport in the world, and I'm just so happy to have been a part of it for so long, and I'm not done yet. I'm going to continue. The Steve Garcia fight is big for me because it's the next fight. It's the biggest fight in my life because of that, and that's how I'm always going to feel. I'm 31 years old, and been doing this for a long time. I got a total. I was counting it up the other day. I got a total of 44 fights with 6 losses, and it's a lot of fights, a lot of time in the cage, and a lot of preparation. But that's like I say, I always put myself through much more in my camps than I ever faced in the cage, and so it's a lot of fights, a lot of experience, and a lot of toughness, a lot of work, and I what I love now is at 31 years old, I can look back and I learned from every fight. I learned just as much from a victory that I do from a loss. I learned a lot from my Joshua Montoya fight just a few months ago, and in the last Jackson Wink fight, and I learned a lot from my losses. And it's part of it. It's always learning, no matter what. I'll be 45 and still learning something new about the sport. Whether or not I'm still competing is one thing, but I'll still be learning. That's for sure.
What was it like being, all of 22 years old and heading over to Japan for a Grand Prix?
It was awesome, man. That was actually whenever I was a kid, like I said, the sport wasn't as advanced as it is now, and back then King of the Cage was where it was at for smaller guys anyways, and my dream as a kid was to become a King of the Cage world champion, and my other dream was to compete in Japan. And I got to, I was blessed and honored, and I was able to live those dreams and see those dreams through, and it was amazing, man. When I landed in Tokyo, Japan, like you said, at 22 years old for the first time, I had my dad there with me, and one of my Muay Thai coach was with us, and it's hard to explain. At that point, I'd been working. Let's see, 7, 8, 9 or 10 years of this dream in this a plan of where I wanted to be at certain times in my career. I never really had a time set for anything. Actually, just where I wanted to be, and to set foot in Tokyo, Japan, and then to be going, riding the charter bus over to the arena with a bunch of guys that I've been, watching all their videos and stuff online and everything. And I mean, it was pretty cool to be playing chess in the back of the bus with Mark Hunt, and talking to Jose Canseco, who's a baseball star, and he's fighting in another show in a Dream. I think I was Dream 9 in that one. Talking to Jose Canseco and getting a picture from my grandma, because she was like every other woman at the time was in love with that guy. So it was cool. I mean, it's hard to explain, but just little things really stuck with me, and my dad luckily kept it in my mind. He always told me just to embrace every moment. Make sure that you remember where you're at, and remember where you want to be, and make sure you want to come, and you do the work to want to come back, and that's kind of my mentality still. I just blessed, happy to have been where I've been, but I still got places to go.
One of those places to go next is to Fight Night 4. It's on November 30th. You're taking on Steve Garcia. He's 6 feet tall. How do you get around this gigantic reach advantage he has?
You go right through it. You Steve. I mean, the reach advantage is going to be something that's going to be fun to work around. I got a couple of training partners that are similar in stature and weight and size and everything. So I'm kind of getting used to the technique and used to the working with that long of limbs. But he's got arms, he's got legs, he's got a neck. That's all I need to get a finish. So we'll see what happens. They're just a lot longer, so I got a lot more real estate to work with.
I was going to ask that. Does his length play into your advantage if this fight hits the mat?
I think everything plays to my advantage once this fight hits the mat, because I mean he's not 6 foot tall on the floor. You don't have the reach advantage on the floor. It's me and him, on the mats. Once we hit the mats, it's going to be skill versus skill, and we'll see how that plays out.
Where does Steve stack up in the as you would say, against the strikers that you fought? Where does he stack up against that list of guys?
I mean, he's a very technical striker. I mean, working with Mike Winklejohn and everybody over at Jackson Wink, he's obviously going to have a lot of technique, a lot of skill. He's got a lot of great training partners to work with. So he's definitely going to be up there as far as one of the better stand-up fighters that I've competed against. But I'll be ready. I'll be ready to get in there and mix it up. In my mind, he's going to be the best stand-up fighter I've ever fought, and he's going to be the best jiu-jitsu guy I've ever fought. He's going to be the best martial artist I've ever fought, and that's what motivates and drives me to train harder, and be ready for it.
November 30th. What do you have to do to get your hand raised?
Beat him. No. No. I mean, I listened to his press conference, and he said it. He said it pretty well. He's going to try to punch me in the face, and I'm going to try to take him down. And that's style versus stylistically. That's pretty much where this is going to be. He's got to be comfortable enough to let his hands and feet go, and I got to be quick enough to nullify that, and then do what I can. And if I can't get the takedown when I want to get the takedown, I've worked a lot of stand up in my career. It's not just I'm not just a jiu-jitsu guy. My record might reflect that with 14 submissions, but I also have 5 knockouts, and one of those 5 knockouts, like I talked about in our last interview, was against Eddie Armendariz, who was right at 6 feet tall as well. And the reach didn't play much of a factor there. I think each fight you got to look at it a little bit differently, just because of a lot of factors. I mean, that was in 2007, and we're in 2018, and the last 10 years in martial arts or mixed martial arts, has been a lot of evolution. So, I mean, in this fight, I just want to be my best in every angle. If we're on our feet, I want to beat him on the feet. If we're on the ground, I want to beat him on the ground. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one to see. Both of us out of New Mexico. I always say I love fighting people from other states because I like to represent New Mexico. But this is a good opportunity just for the crowd to get out there and support New Mexico fighters, and we'll put on a show for sure. We got 25 minutes to do it, and hopefully, I don't want it to go that long. I want to finish the fight. Obviously, like you said, my last few victories, anyways, have been finished pretty quick within the first 1 or 2 rounds, and I'm ready to go 10 rounds, but I'm hoping to finish in 1. So we'll see what happens.
Did you just say this fight's scheduled for 5 rounds?
Yeah, 5-minute rounds. So that's what my contract read, anyways.
Oh, cool. I'm like, I don't think they had told us that at the press conference. That's awesome.
Yeah. So for it's a main event fight, not a title fight, but it's a main event fight. So yeah,
cool.
You guys could be in for a 25-minute fight after only getting 2 minutes. My last fight, everybody goes out to Isleta, maybe 25 minutes, and see what we can do.
You were watching the press conference. Did you have a wow, I feel old and he's really young kind of moment when Steve's like, I was a fan of that guy. I watched him on HD Net Fights.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've a couple of times I've found myself, calling him a kid and stuff, just because. But then I looked at he's 26 years old. But whenever you're calling a 26-year-old young, that means you're old. And I guess if I'm doing that I am old. I guess I got him very set. So, but yeah, that's just another thing, another area of fan base that I can represent. That I can dedicate this fight to those that remember music before auto tune and remember flat screens that weighed 200 pounds and bunny ears to watch KOB News. Representing my generation and versus the new generation, and well, just some extra motivation. I got to do it for those 30 plus.
People that still remember what CDs are and VHS.
That's right. Having to rewind your movies to watch them again.
Right. Be kind. Please rewind.
There you go. Yeah. So. But yeah, no, it's I mean, I've been fighting I'm even old just in MMA years, man. I've been fighting, like I said, since I was 18 years old. That's 13 years of competing in a combative sport. And I think that's something to be proud of too in itself. Just now that I think about it.
Has the ridiculous amount of first round finishes you've secured also helped in your longevity?
I'm sure that helps. Yeah, having not suffered like a concussion and stuff like that, or any serious injuries. Of course, I've broken some bones along the way, but nothing too major. Definitely helps. But my preparation, like I said, is pretty intense, and I put my body through a lot. But I do it smart, and I treat my body right. I ask a lot of it, so I make sure I return the favor, and try to stay healthy. Keep away from alcohol and stuff like that. Just gotta try to stay focused and keep an eye on the prize and eat right. And, I gotta, like I said, show appreciation because I definitely ask a lot of my body.
Fight Night 4, Isleta Resort Casino. I believe it's going to be the first event in the newly renovated showroom. Main event, Abel Cullum, Steve Garcia. Abel, last but not least, who do you need to thank? Who do you need to shout out to?
Definitely, first off, I'd like to thank Fresquez Jackson Wing Promotion for putting on the show, the Isleta Casino for hosting it, and also advertising. I've been getting a lot of feedback on the commercials and stuff. People are telling me they're seeing me on TV and everything, and I think it's awesome. I love it. I love being back out there, and I love the community reaching out to me as well, and everybody. Taking care of a small town, and I love that I'm available to my small community, and inside with mixed martial arts and also as law enforcement officers. So shout out to Tucumcari Police Department. Those guys and girls over there are going to be working their butts off trying to cover shift. I mean, having a fight this close to Thanksgiving is difficult because I like to take some time off to get my last few weeks of my training camp, hard. And got some guys that are pulling a lot of hours just to cover me for this fight. Unfortunately, some of them won't be able to watch me fight because they will be working for me, working to cover my shift. But anyways, yeah, shout out to Tucumcari Police Department. Of course, shout out to all law enforcement across everywhere. Those it takes a certain breed to do it and to stay with it and to stick it out. Shout out to everybody that's retired in law enforcement. Thank you for what you've done for your communities and Tucumcari Rattler Wrestling. Like I said, those guys have been kicking my butt, helping me get in shape. They're usually my second workout of the day before I head over to Force of One. Who I'd like to thank definitely Force of One, Master Swan, who's done a lot to help me come back and get back out there. He's keeping me focused and keeping me motivated, and part of the main reason why, like I said, why I came back. I've started training again with Coach Swan and helping some of the guys out over there and filling it out. And he's like, man, you still got it, dude. Whenever you got it, just going back on the old thing, when people say you still got it, I guess that means you're kind of old too. But anyways, him saying that, being there and motivating me has been a blessing. And thank you to him, and of course all the fans out there, everybody that's going to come out and watch. Again, November 30th, fight start at 7 p.m. Main event. Abel Cullum versus Steve Garcia. It's Fresquez, Jackson Wake, Fight Night 4. Come out there, show your support. And my new wife, Ashley Cullum now, thank you for putting up with me. I know I've been gone a lot, and I know you're going to listen to this once I get done. So thank you, love you, and, thank you for holding it down and keeping my meals cooked.
That is important.
So, and then Nico Nathan will be fighting King of the Cage that Sunday in Albuquerque. Same weekend of Fight Night 4. Get out there and support Nico. And yeah, I know he's gonna do well. He's been working. He's talking about being a beast in the gym. Man, that guy's his work ethic is insane. So yeah, shout out to Nico on that, and good luck on that fight. And kick my butt tonight. I'll be at the gym. I'll see you here in a little bit.
Also, where can people pick up? I heard you do have a walkout shirt available.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I have a link on my Facebook. You can also, if you want to get at Reborg, his Facebook too. The shirt is says Borg Strong on the back. It's got a picture, like a animation, a picture of Ray Borg's face in the front. Really cool shirt. Proceeds, cooler than the shirt, is the story behind it. So proceeds of the shirt go towards helping the Borg family and helping in the recovery of Anthony Borg. If you're not familiar, is Ray Borg's son, who's got a condition. It's called I've been saying it. It's a hydrocephalus, I believe, and what it is basically your body produces too much spinal cerebral fluid and can cause some issues. And anyways, the fluid it builds up in the brain, and they've had to perform, I think, like five brain surgeries on his son, and he's not even a year old. This kid's been through so much, and yeah, prayers and thoughts definitely go out to the Borg family, and just buying this shirt, $25, going towards a great cause, and you get an awesome shirt out of it. You get to help the family and help support Anthony and his recovery, and yeah, that's going to be my official walkout shirt. Like I said, the link's on my Facebook. You can also find it at Ray Borg's Facebook page, and just hashtag BorgStrong. And yeah, definitely.
I've also reshared that link all over my social media, the Cage Mind social media. So look for those t-shirts.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Abel, thank you for the time this morning.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. You have a good day.
You too.